Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Gauravani Chakarine Nirvishesha Sundavati Paschatya Desha Karine Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 1, Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra, text number 41. Sankaro narkayaiva kulatnanam kulasya cha patante pitaro yesham lupta pindo dakakriyaha. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. So, the translation I had explained in the last class. Please read the purport.
According to the rules of regulations of
Mic is working? No. Okay, leave it. Not working.
what else? According to the rules of regulations of productive activities, there is need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family.
Wait. So, according to the scriptural rules, you need to offer periodical food and water to your forefathers. So, what is that period? So, just like you had to send the message to someone, so earlier there was people used to send their message by post, and there's a whole department of post office which works to arrange to ensure that your message is reached to the concerned person. So, like that, when you want to offer Pindadan or Lord's Prasad to your forefathers, there's a whole department functioning for this. What is that department? That department is governed by Pitras. Okay. The head of that department is called as Aryama. Okay. So where they stay in Pitralok. There the office is there, where from where they make all the arrangements to ensure that whatever Pindadan offering we are trying to offer for our ancestors, it reaches wherever they are in the whole creation. So the arrangement is done by Pitralokas. So this Pitraloka is a higher planet. Okay. So in these higher planet, one day of that higher planet is equal to 6 months of our Earth planet. And one night of that higher planet is equal to next 6 months of our Earth planet. So when 1 year takes place in our Earth, then there 1 day and 1 night is over. So periodical offering of food and water should be done every day of Pitralok. Just like you require food and water every day. Similarly, you should offer food and water to your ancestors every day. But because it is governed by the office in the higher planet. So every day means once in a year here. So once in a year when, so according to the scriptures, there is a period called Pitra Paksha, right? During that Pitra Paksha, you should offer the food and water, which should be prasad for your ancestors, and the administration in Pitra Loka will ensure that it reaches to your ancestors. And that's how they will get a devotional benefit and they will be uplifted from wherever they are. So, in this way, periodical food and water to the forefathers should be offered. Okay, so this is the rules and regulation. Read further.
This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions.
Wait. So, as I said already, this food and water should be prasad. Because only by honoring prasad can you free yourself from your sinful actions. By pious activities, you cannot free yourself from sinful activities. Okay? For pious activities, you will get pious results. For sinful activity, you will get sinful results. It's not that pious activity is going to counteract sinful activity. No, both are going to offer you the separate results. They are not going to counteract each other. Okay. So pious activity will give you pious results, sinful activity will give you sinful results. But if you are doing devotional activity, then devotional activity will counteract the sinful reaction. And devotional activity will also counteract the pious reaction if it is needed. Whatever is needed, devotional activity we do. And who governs this? Lord personally governs this. So devotional activity counteracts pious activities and sinful activity. How it counteracts? That is the science governed by the Supreme Lord. For example, for example, let's say I like one time one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I was cutting the vegetables for Supreme Lord. While cutting vegetables, his finger got cut. So he asked Srila Prabhupada, I was cutting the vegetables for the pleasure of for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. Why my fingers got cut? And Srila Prabhupada said, your head was supposed to cut because of your past sinful deeds. But because you are performing devotion, only your finger got cut. So in this way, by the grace of Krishna, because of his devotional credit, his sinful activity, reaction of his sinful activity got reduced. Because if his head was cut, then can he perform more devotion? No. Then he will be dead. So Krishna arranges. Krishna arranges in such a manner that he increases his devotional activity more and more. Okay. So when we are performing devotion, we do not get reaction, but we get reformation. There's a difference between reaction and reformation. A criminal, he gets punishment. Not necessarily he will be reformed. Right? So when you are performing sinful activity, you will get the punishment, reaction. Not necessarily you will be reformed. But when you are performing devotional activity, it is ensured that you are reformed. And sometimes reformation process is also painful. Just like for me, I will just give you my example. My fingers got cut. It was painful. But after that, I had to do lot of exercises. And that was also painful. That was also very much painful. I would say those fingers exercises was causing me much more pain. But when I was doing exercise which was causing me pain, that was for reforming my finger. If I would not have done those exercises, then my movement of fingers would not be there, right? So one type of pain was for reformation, but when fingers got cut, that pain was reaction, right? So when we performing devotional activity, we may get some pain. That is for reformation. Okay. So this devotee's finger got cut. It was painful. It was for reformation, like that. Okay. So prasad should be offered. Devotional credit should be offered. That only can counteract sinful reaction. Read further.
Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as a ghosts.
Wait. So gross body like us and subtle body means only mind, intelligence, ego. Imagine you have mind, intelligence, and ego and no body. That's like ghost. It's not comfortable. You have a desire. Mind is there, so you can desire. You have a desire that I want to smell fragrant rose. But you don't have body, you don't have nose. How can you smell? Your mind is there, but nose is not there. So you cannot experience the fragrance. You understand? So just consider the situation. Sometimes some people become such terrible diseases. Like I know one person, he got some disease because of his whole mouth was dysfunctional. His whole mouth was dysfunctional. So how he was given the food? Through a pipe. And this pipe was connected here. So food was going inside, but no experience of taste. No experience of taste. And like this, not one day, 2 day, months and months. How terrible life it becomes that you cannot experience any taste. So like that. So just like one organ is not functioning, person feels so much miserable. Imagine the whole body is not existing, no organs are there. How much miserable that situation is. So this is ghostly body, very miserable. And that is why these ghostly people, because they don't have body, so they try to haunt someone who has body. Just like it's a simple phenomena. You don't have money, you are in very much need of money. Another person has a lot of money. So what this poor person will do? He will steal money from that person, right? So like that. Ghost, he doesn't have body, you have a body. He will try to haunt your body. Like that. So this is what ghostly people do. They are very miserable. So to such people who are suffering in the ghostly body, if you are offering some devotional credits by Pindadan, they will be delivered from that miserable situation. Read further.
Thus, when remnants of Sadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or often other kinds of miserable life.
Read.
Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals.
Yes. So either you perform Pindadan as per Pitra Paksha rules and regulation. That should be also prasad. But you are doing it as a ritual. It is prasad, but you are doing it as a ritual. But if you are performing devotional activities, it is the statement is those who are for it is I mean such rituals are needed for those who are not in devotional life. But if you are in devotional life, that means your whole life is devotional, not just Pitra Paksha time in a year, not like that. Your whole life is devotional. That means every moment, whatever you are doing is for the pleasure of Lord. You are honoring Prasad for the pleasure of Lord. You are worshipping for the pleasure of Lord. Everything you do for the pleasure of Lord. So you can offer all that devotional credit for the pleasure, for the deliverance of your forefather. And what to speak of offering them? If you just practice the devotion in your life, just by your sincere practice of devotion in your life, Lord Narsimdev said to Prahalad, 20 generations of past and future will be delivered. And Srila Prabhupada talks in one purport, in first canto only. 100 generations of past, present, and future will be delivered. 100 generations. It's too big. You know. So, just by practicing devotion, if one person in a family becomes sincere devotee, then hundreds of generation of people would be delivered. So you don't. So for such people who are practicing devotion, they don't have to practice the ritual of offering pindadan because they are every moment practicing devotion and offering the credits for the benefit of everyone. Every moment. Just like you have 100 rupees, do you need to carry 5 rupees separately? You don't. Similarly, your whole life is devotional. Why you need to practice a ritual of Pindadan just during Pitra Paksha? Not needed. It's your choice. You can just like if you have 100 rupees, it's your choice. You can carry 5 rupees more. That is your choice, but not required. Similarly, if your whole life is devotional, it's not necessary for you to perform Pindadan during Pitra Paksha because your whole life is devotional. You understand? So that is why Srila Prabhupada is saying that those who are not in devotional life, they are required to perform such rituals. But your whole life is devotional, very good. Read further.
One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions.
Hmm. Read.
Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of others from all kinds of misery.
See, here also again it is the same statement. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers. Same thing, hundreds of generations. Again, Srila Prabhupada is saying. In the first canto, he is saying, here in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he is saying, hundreds of forefathers, hundreds and thousands of forefathers. See? So, this is the power of devotion. So, you see, what is better? Performing Pitra Paksha, Pindadan just once in a year, or living your life in devotion is going to benefit us and thousands of forefathers. Read further.
It is stated in the Bhagavatam.
देवर्षि भूताप्त नृणां पितॄणां न किङ्करो नायं ऋणिं च राजन् सर्वात्मनाय शरणं शरण्यं गतो मुकुन्दं परिहृत्य कर्तुम्. Read.
Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus of feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, Oaths, neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers.
Wait. So, if you are practicing devotion, you don't have to perform Pitra Paksha Pindadan. Not only that, if you are practicing devotion in your life, you don't have to perform any other type of rituals and worship towards your forefathers or demigods or sages or general living entities or anyone. You don't require because you're practicing devotion. So when you are practicing devotion, it includes everything. Just like if you are watering the root of a tree, do you require to water thousands of leaves in that tree separately? No. Watering the root is sufficient to provide water to all the leaves. Similarly, performing devotion for Krishna is sufficient to satisfy all the demigods, sages, other living entities, family members, forefathers, everyone. It is sufficient. If we are performing devotion, everyone will be satisfied. But who will not be satisfied? Those who are not devotee. When Prahlad was performing devotion, it was very satisfactory. But Hiranyakashipu was not happy. His own father was not very happy because he was not devotee. So, when you water the root of a tree, all the leaves will get water. But the leaves which are cut from the tree, will they get water? No. So, those who are not in devotion to Supreme Lord, they will not be happy. Rest others will be happy. Everyone will be happy. So, if you are practicing devotion, then natural outcome is everyone should be happy. But if someone is not happy, that means they are not devoted to Lord. You understand? They are not devoted to Lord. So what about these demigods and sages? They are already devoted to the Supreme Lord. And what about forefathers? They are suffering. They're already suffering and they're getting benefit. And our descendant is practicing devotion. By that, we are relieved from this suffering. So they will also be happy. They will also be happy. So demigods, sages, and forefathers, they will be happy. And it says family members. Yes, family members should also be happy. But if they are not devoted, they will not be happy. They will not be happy. But if you are not devoted, see, Hiranyakashipu was not devoted to Supreme Lord. And Hiranyakashipu was expecting my son should be obedient to me. And Prahalad was not obedient to Hiranyakashipu, isn't it? Now, according to the scriptural law, children should be obedient to their parents. Children should be obedient to the parents according to the scriptural law. Right? So here Prahalad is not obedient to Hiranyakashipu. So he is not following the scriptural law. But because he is following the devotional law, he is a devotee of the Supreme Lord. So he need not follow this scriptural law. I will explain you further. Prahlad is not following the scriptural law of being obedient to his father. However, being obedient to father doesn't imply that you can break the scriptural law at the cost of being obedient to father. His father was teaching him, you should understand demigods are your enemy. So his father was teaching Prahlad to see the duality of friends and enemy. And Prahlad was seeing everyone as soul, no duality as friend and enemy. So his father was teaching him the principle which was not appropriate as per scriptures. So such obedience is not accepted which goes against the scriptures. Such obedience is not accepted which goes against the scriptures. All right. So, from that perspective, when Prahlad is not obeying his father, that's all right. Because his father is trying to misguide him against the scriptures. Let's say father is devotee. Let's say father is devotee. And son is following devotional path. So then naturally he is already obeying his father. Father is a devotee, he understands what son is doing, it's okay. And for while son is performing his devotional practices and father is also devotee, naturally he will follow his father because he's already devotee. You understand? So like that. So when you are performing devotional practices, you don't need to separately satisfy these people because you are already satisfying them. So from that perspective, that because you are already satisfying these personalities, demigods, sages, that is why you don't need to separately satisfy them, thus, you don't need to separately perform the duties to satisfy them because you are already performing the higher duty of devotion. So, from that perspective, it is said if you are devoted to Supreme Lord Mukunda, then you owe neither duties nor obligation to demigods, sages, general living entity, family members, and forefathers. If you are devoted to Lord, you don't need to perform any separate duty for these people because you are already performing the devotional duty which is satisfying them. Understood? Like that. Read further.
Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, such obligations automatically fulfilled. Watering the root automatically offers water to the leaves. So, like that. Next verse. दोषैरेतै कुलज्ञानां संकर कारकै उत्साद्यन्ते जाति धर्माः कुल धर्माश्च शाश्वतः. Read the translation.
Alas, how strange.
No,
No,
translation by the evil deeds 42.
Um, by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
Yes. So, if this family tradition of Pinddan is not maintained and family members are destroying this family tradition, instead of practicing this family tradition, they are practicing evil activities, sinful activities, then what will happen? Everywhere irreligion. And then their children will be also sinful. Parents are sinful, children will also sinful. And when such sinful, irreligious people are there in the society, then they will not perform any welfare activities for others. If you do not have heart to perform welfare activity for your forefathers, where's the question of performing welfare activity for other people in the society? So they will not perform any welfare activity. They will not perform any projects which is meant for good for the whole community. So all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities will be destroyed when such irreligious, sinful people are prevalent in the society. And that is what is happening in the modern times. People don't know about how to perform welfare work for others. You know, they don't. Everyone has become very very selfish. They just think for their own family. And what to speak of family today, they think only for themselves, not even the family, only themselves. So like that, all kinds of welfare activities and community projects are stopped. Earlier, like if the general welfare activities for the whole society is like some celebrate some festival, okay, in which you invite everyone, okay, or let's say let's say uh, just like, okay, invite some saintly person to perform some sacrifice for the welfare of the whole society, like that. Or in the modern times, let's say, invite some let's say some, just one example I'm giving, invite a good doctor, and he will diagnose everyone in the society, like that. So it's a community project. No one does like this, isn't it? Government arranges doctors and everything, but such kind of community project, okay, like in the society someone decides, okay, for the welfare of all the families in the society we should do this or do that. Hardly such thing happens. If something is happening on the name of such community project, I don't know what kind of thing, what happens in your society. Anything happens like that. Such things are not existing. So community projects are not happening. Family welfare activities don't happen. People have become just very much selfish. Read further.
Community projects for the four orders of human society combine with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnashram,
Varnashram Dharma.
are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation.
Yeah. Community projects. I just gave you the example that invite a doctor just to make you understand what is called community project. If you're in your family, if someone is sick, you may invite some doctor, or you take the family member to doctor. That's just your family project. But community project means for everyone. Okay, invite a teacher, invite a doctor, or do this like that. Some saintly person will come do this. Okay, or for our community, we will grow the tree around. This is also a community project. Like that. So, so just some. These are some examples I gave to make you a feel of what is community project. So, in a society, four orders of society. What are the four orders? This refers to Varnashram. What is Varnashram? Four Varna and four Ashram. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And student, householder, and retired and renounced. These are eight categories. So these are called as orders of human society. So in the scriptures, these eight sections of the society Not eight sections, actually, there are four only. These eight sections are having their responsibilities, their duties, so that human being in their category are elevating their character so that they will be freed from bondage of this world. Salvation means bondage of this, freedom from bondage of this world. What is bondage? You are bound with the dualities. I don't want so much cold. There should be heat. I don't want so much heat. Like that, you're bound with the dualities. You're bound with birth and death. So salvation means freedom from this bondage. So when this freedom from bondage will take place, when your character will be elevated. Just like in the prison, criminals are bound. When they will be freed from that bondage, when their character will be elevated, then they will be freed from that bondage. So similarly, when we will be freed from this material bondage, when our character will be reformed. So Varnashram institution offers different rules and regulations and principles to every human being based on their category so that they elevate their character. Okay. So here it is said community projects combined with family welfare activities which are described in scriptures are meant for elevating our character. So the examples which I gave were just mundane, just mundane. Okay, a doctor he comes and he diagnoses everyone in the family or everyone in the community. Fine, what is he doing? He's just taking care of your gross body. That's all. But if a saintly person comes and he gives discourse on Bhagavad Gita and everyone's character is being elevated, that is a community project. Okay. Inviting a doctor is also a community project, but it's a very low level community project. Community projects are ultimately intended for salvation, for elevating our character. So, what we are doing here, like you are organizing these classes every week, it's not for the family, it's for everyone. This is a community project. Of course, community do not take interest in it, that is another subject. But this is a community project. Okay. We are running a temple. It's a community project. Like we are going to celebrate the festival, Janmashtami festival. It's a community project. We will take we will take donation from all of you. It's a community project. It's not for some personal growth. No, it's for a community project like that. So community projects are meant for elevating our character so that we are freed from material bondage. And such community projects, what are those community projects, are described in the scriptures. Read further.
Therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently, people forget the aim of life is
Wait. So, if you are not following such community projects, family welfare activity, or breaking the scriptural principles, then no one will be benefited. Everyone is following a religion. Then what will happen? Chaos. Just like no one follows the traffic rules, what will happen in the road? Chaotic situation. The same thing happens in the society. If you do rules and regulation, chaos. And whatever trouble you find in the society, you know, this person insulted that person, or this person did this, that, all that. It's all because of people don't follow the scriptural rules and regulation. All troubles which you, I mean, all kinds of sinful deeds which are happening. It's a chaotic situation. Why? Because people are not following the scriptural rules and regulation. Read further.
Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos.
Yeah, blind. You may be blind with eyes, and you may be blind with right knowledge. Which is more dangerous? Huh? Blind with knowledge. Why? Why? If you are blind with eyes, at least you can take knowledge from someone and reach your destination. But if you are blind with knowledge, then what you will do? Simple example, simple example. You don't know your home. You don't know your home. So one is blind of knowledge. Another person, he knows his home, but he doesn't have eyes. Blind with eyes. Who can reach home? The one who is blind with eyes. He can reach. He will ask someone, he will tell that this is my home, could you please help me? He can reach his home. The one who is blind with eyes can reach his home. But the one who is blind with knowledge, he cannot reach his home. So blind with knowledge is more dangerous. So knowledge of scriptural principles, knowledge of right values is very much needed. And if you don't have that knowledge, you are blind. So if leaders are blind, then the followers, because they are following such blind leader, so what will be their situation? Their situation also be troublesome, isn't it? So leaders are blind, and person who follows such leaders are led into chaos. Like that. So, so knowledge means knowledge of religion. Religion doesn't mean Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Religion means a scriptural manual to navigate your human life, a scriptural manual to navigate your human machine, to operate your human machine properly. That is dharma. A machine you purchase, with that machine, some small manual also come. You are supposed to operate that machine as per the guidelines of that manual. If you don't operate the machine with that guideline and you are trying to do something on your own, then you will spoil the machine, isn't it? So, this is what happens. If you are not operating this human body as per the manual of Bhagavad Gita, then you are simply spoiling this human machine and you will not be able to achieve the purpose which you can achieve through this machine. You will not get that purpose fulfilled. So better operate this human body as per the manual of Bhagavad Gita. So those who do not read the manual, those who are ignorant of the knowledge mentioned in this manual, those who are blind of this knowledge, their personal life will be troublesome, chaotic, and those who will follow such people, they will also lead into chaotic situation. And this is what is happening in the society. So it's very much important that this knowledge of true religion should be offered to the society. And this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to offer the knowledge of true religion so that we practice it in our life and help others to practice like that. Next verse. उत्सन्न कुल धर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुमा. Read translation.
O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard my disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
Yes. So Arjuna is saying to Krishna that whatever I am speaking is heard in disciplic succession. I am not speaking out of my mind. Whatever I am speaking is from disciplic succession. So he is giving the support of disciplic succession so that it is valued. Just like you want to give some message to someone, and to ensure that he values your message, you will say, BBC has said this, isn't it? Like that. Or you will say, Prime Minister has spoken this today in his speech. Like this, you will support it. So that your message is valued, your statement is valued. So, like that, Arjuna is saying, disciplic succession is saying this. Okay. Of course, today no one values the disciplic succession because culture has changed, isn't it? Today, if you say that in America people do like this, so people will value it, isn't it? So, like that. So, or you say Amitabh Bachchan does like this, so people will value it. So, in the Vedic times, disciplic succession is saying this, so people will value it. So Arjuna is saying the same. Disciplic succession is saying this. I have heard this in disciplic succession. What is disciplic succession? Krishna has given message to Arjuna. To Krishna has given message to sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan gave it to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku gave it to Manu. This is one disciplic succession. Another disciplic succession. Krishna gave the message to Brahma. Brahma gave the message to Narad. Narad gave to Vyasdev, and in turn continues. Another disciplic succession. Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Like that. And through Arjuna it is coming to Sanjay. And Sanjay is giving to Dhritarashtra. Like that. So this is disciplic succession. Succession of good teachers. That is disciplic succession. Succession of authorized teachers. That is disciplic succession. So Arjuna is saying, I have heard all this in disciplic succession. So please value it. And what he is saying to value? If we are destroying family tradition, such people will dwell in hell. And true it is. For sinful deed, you will go to hell. For pious deed, you will go to heaven. And if you want to know what kind of troubles are in hell, please read 5th canto, 32nd chapter, 31st chapter. Just by reading those chapters, people will be alarmed and stop their sinful deeds to some extent. Very horrifying, very horrifying. You know, just like today I read, those who see others with very horrifying eyes, like in Hindi we say, घूर कर देखना, like that. Those who treat others like that, for such people, they will go to hell And what kind of punishment they will get? Vultures will pluck their eyes and they will not die. They will suffer. They will not die. It's like that. All details are given. For this sinful deed, this reaction. For this sinful deed, this reaction. If you read it, you will you will say that, oh, I have not done this, I have not done this. But you will definitely find I have done this. So many details are there, not just one or two. So many details. Read fifth canto. You have Bhagavatam, right? Read fifth canto, 31st chapter, 32nd chapter. So many sinful deeds and their reactions are given. And will fall somewhere, one or two or like that. So it's very much important that practice devotion sincerely so that we don't have to see those hellish suffering. They are very troublesome, very painful. You know, just one finger, few fingers cut gives so much pain. My God, they are the pain, the trouble, the punishment which is there in the hell is so horrifying. So just by reading those section, will become serious in our bhakti. So it's advisable to read sometime. Okay. So yes, if you are destroying family tradition, not practicing religion, doing sinful deeds, surely you will go to hell. But if you are practicing devotion, we can protect ourselves from such hellish suffering. Please read the purport.
Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities.
Yes. Read.
That is the way of receiving real knowledge.
Yes, this is the way of receiving real knowledge. If you want to know about medicines, will you ask about your, will you ask some farmer about the medicine? No. If you want to know about medicines, will you ask some jewelers about the medicine? No. If you want to know about medicine, ask the doctor, right? And that doctor also has learned from another doctor. And that doctor also has learned from another doctor. This is a disciplined chain of doctors. So, like that, if you want to know about knowledge of operating this human body to elevate our character, then ask the right person. Don't imagine about it, or don't say that I just read in this magazine it was written like this. No, these are all wrong process. This is not the way to acquire the real knowledge. Real knowledge is to ask the authority. Okay, real knowledge is to ask the authority. Who is the authorized person for the medicines? Doctor. Who is the authorized person for construction of a building? An engineer, a civil engineer, like that. Who is the authorized person that whether this machine, whether this electronic machine will operate with this current or not? An electrical engineer. Similarly, who is the authorized person for offering you the knowledge to operate this human body for the purpose of elevating our character? Those who are living this knowledge in their life. That means devotees. Because their character is good. They are trying to uplift their character as per scriptural principle. So they are the authorized person. Ask them the knowledge about dharma. Okay, ask them the knowledge about dharma. Not that according to this dharma, this or that. No, that is all bogus. Ask the person who is living their life with the good character, scriptural values. They are the authority for offering you the real knowledge. Okay, so at this point we'll stop. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you. Any clarification or anything you may ask now.